Hey guys, welcome on into the channel. Probably going to be a little bit of a different energy here today than what we're used to, and I think that's okay, given everything that we've heard in the last about 24 hours or so. Unfortunately, losing Hayden Panettiere at just 36 years old. And it's always a shock when, somebody young passes away that's, somebody of prominence, somebody that we, know in some sort of fashion, right? But there's something about this one that seems particularly heartbreaking, and it's like really touching a lot of people. And it just seems like it's hanging around a little bit more, or I don't know, there's something, the energy to me feels a little bit different about this one. And so, while this usually isn't the kind of thing that we cover here on the channel, or at least, covering it the way that we do, I feel like it's something that needs to be done. I want to make sure that everyone knows right off the bat, we're just starting here. This is about respecting Hayden and honoring her. And so I just want to ask that, I don't think I have to say it, but just so I can say that I said it. Just want everyone to be respectful. We're not here to like speculate or theorize about certain things. And I think also just, it's a place, I want this live session here really to be kind of a little bit of a sort of group therapy thing, or just, whatever it is. If you want to grieve, if you want to share something happy, maybe you met Hayden and had a really awesome interaction with her. I heard she was amazing. I never met her myself. Or, maybe you're reading her book, or maybe there's a role that she was in that not a lot of people talk about that you want to bring to light. Like whatever you got, this is a time where we can, we can grieve, we can mourn, we can celebrate, and we can just sort of have some communion over this, a little bit of fellowship and stick together. And I'm going to jump in and of course hang out with you guys and see what you guys are saying. Before we get into it, I just want to thank everybody that has, given the most recent video a watch, and especially the folks that have jumped into the comments and shared some stuff, some kind of personal things about their own struggles. And I want to say that when I made that video last night, and I mentioned it in the video, but I just want to be clear. It was not an assumption that the mental health had a direct cause to what happened, but some of the bad habits we can form in our lives can be a way to sort of cope with the mental health stuff. And I know that she was very open about the struggles and about her mental health specifically. So I figured regardless, ultimately it's a tragedy no matter what, and it doesn't, the why or the how and everything doesn't matter so much. I think it matters to a degree, and it probably matters to some people more than others. But I think it's just, regardless of the circumstances surrounding it, it just seems like a good time to sort of open up that conversation. So thank you to everybody. I asked people to share, and I think that's the first step. The first step to finding a new way to deal with some of these things that we don't have the DNA to deal with them, because we were never really meant to deal with a lot of the stresses and a lot of the anxieties that we experience in our modern world, because we've created a world that's a lot different than what we were built for. And so we have, issues that we're not wired to deal with, as well as maybe some other issues. So, really just opening the door for that conversation, to be able to show some vulnerability and compassion, and to be able to trust one another can be really tough. So thank you to everybody that showed that vulnerability. Some of you were responding to other people's comments in the, with compassion and with support. And it's got to be a cycle, right? And it's just got to be something we talk about and check in on people. And when we feel like we need to be checked in on, like we say something to somebody. When we don't wait for somebody to say something to us, we can build a culture where if you got something that's hanging over your head or just weighing you down, like you feel like you can say something to somebody. That's a way moving forward where we can lessen some of the hurt and some of the pain that we experience in this world. Some of us deal with it personally, and to varying degrees. And then others, you know, we've lost people, you know. It's just really tragic what happened. I'm sorry. I know I might seem like I'm kind of rambling now. I want to get my preamble out before we get rolling, because I really do want to spend the time highlighting what you guys all have to say. But I just wanted to be able to say a piece here before we really jump in. This is just a great time to open yourself up to somebody else, and to see if you can have that, you know, see if we can change some things here and carve a new path moving forward. So thank you guys for joining me. Ads are turned off. Super chats are turned off. I left member stuff open because I figured maybe if somebody new comes in here and they want to, you know, become a bigger part of the community, that's a way to do it. And I wanted to leave that open there. If you guys have any sort of misgivings, or if there's anything about that that doesn't sit right with you guys, I will absolutely turn those off midstream. Really, it was just like, if somebody is new here, or if somebody wants to be part of that tighter knit group of the members, for that sense of community and everything like that, I didn't want to close that off. So I just want to get that out there. This is not about capitalizing on anyone's tragedy or anyone's death or anything like that. This is about us coming together and celebrating the life and work of Hayden Panettiere, and reflecting on how precious life is, and how you just never know. I mean, on yesterday when we were live, I was like, maybe I'll be live tomorrow. Maybe I'll, you know, I'm just sitting there thinking, you know, oh, I'll take Monday off, and, you know, blah, 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 nothing. And then sitting and eating dinner later on in the night, and, you know, and that just hits. And it was just, I just, you know, staring at the wall for a bit, you know? So anyways, I thought about postpone, or, you know, not doing something like this until like Wednesday, but I've seen a lot of people that have been so greatly affected, you know, the folks jumping into the comments, but just really all over social medias, and just, you know, everywhere. So I was like, man, I feel like, even though there's a part of me that's like, man, I kind of just need the night or whatever, I don't know if I'm ready. I'm like, it just seems like we need each other. And so I want to be here for you guys, and provide a space where everyone can be together. So I'm going to jump over, say what's up to you guys. I don't know how long we're going to go tonight. But we'll just go. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for joining. And I'm so sorry that this has happened, and I'm just right there with you. All right, let's see who we've got here. It's just, guys, it's going to be a little bit of a different kind of energy thing. I don't, it's not like I'm sitting here feeling super tired or anything. It's just that, I just want to, you know, I just got to act appropriate with the situation. You know, this is this is not a performance. This is just David Conway hanging out with some people. Hey there, Antonis, one of our great channel members there. Man, it's just been tough. I just wanted, you know, thought of a handful of people came to mind right away when the news hit, just as far as people within the community that I care about and know, that are, you know, maybe they're Scream super fans, or maybe they're just people that I know that have struggled with, you know, issues, and you know, struggled with these mental health things too. And it's just, you know, you just want to reach out to everyone and see how everyone's doing. Hey there, Paula, another one of our channel members. Paula actually reached out. Paula was the one that told me last night. I didn't see anything, you know, like I said, I was eating dinner. So sometimes I scroll, but I, you know, not all the time when I'm sitting there eating. And, you know, Paula sent me a message and I couldn't believe it. And so I checked around, and, you know, it looks like about 10 minutes before, people were, you know, sharing it on stuff like Twitter. And so, Paula, I do appreciate you letting me know. It was just brought the night to a grinding halt, guys. Man. Hey there, Prince. Prince says, I'll always love her being Brittany Allen in Bring It On, All or Nothing. Yeah, some of Hayden's work, the first time I ever saw her was in Heroes. I mean, I knew about Remember the Titans. I just had never seen the movie. You know, growing up, I just hadn't seen it. But Heroes, I started watching that show from like, maybe it was like by the time the second episode came out, I had heard something about it, so I caught up. I really love that first season of Heroes. Hayden is ridiculously charismatic and like funny and just, you know, the whole thing. Everything she needs to be in that show, she is. And so bringing on All or Nothing is another one of those that I missed. When I looked through her IMDb, I was, you know, pretty surprised. There's a lot of, you know, I didn't know that she was a voice in the Kingdom Hearts series, if you're a video game fan or diehard Disney fan. And then of course, you know, she voiced, I believe it was Dot in A Bug's Life. And man, she was working before she was 5 years old. She was like 4.5 and she was working on like One Life to Live or one of those soap operas. And then she ended up doing a whole bunch of episodes of Guiding Light. Just a really impressive career for somebody that was born in 1989 and first credits 94. She's got a lot of people beat with that one there. So, yeah, just super fun. I mean, some of these I'm gonna have to go back and revisit. I don't know why I haven't seen Remember the Titans. It might just be because I was in like high school and it was a Disney football movie and I thought it would just be corny. And I don't even really know the story, really. I just figured, Disney, they're just like, they're gonna lie about this true story and blah, 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 whatever. But Denzel, Hayden, I saw Will Patton is in it. I love Will Patton. So yeah, there's and it seems like it's a really sweet story. So there are blind spots I have in her career that I'm gonna have to go back and appreciate and experience myself. Hey there, Wesley, welcome in. One of our channel members, and Wesley, I know this one is hitting you really hard. I mean, I know it's hitting a lot of people really hard, man. It's okay to feel the way you feel, guys. That's something I have failed to say. I should have said it in my video. I should have said it in my intro. Grieving is a very personal thing, and you just got to grieve the way you got to grieve. So no judgment on the way someone grieves, you know? If grieving is removing yourself from a situation or from a platform or just sitting and staring at a wall like I did, it's just, yeah, I mean, whatever that process looks like for you, I would just encourage that everyone keep in touch with one another. And you know, usually the term commiserate is, you know, not always seen as usually it's used in sort of a darkly comedic kind of way. But this is a time where, you know, having people around that understand and know, or at least know how you feel as far as from the standpoint of being a fan, dealing with the loss of someone whose work they greatly appreciate. So Wesley, I just want you to know I've been seeing your posts and everything, and you know, I'm just thinking about you, man. Lito, we got our guy Hollywood Lito. Thank you so much for jumping in, man. Lito and I spent like a good hour on the phone last night. I mean, this is what we have to do for each other, guys. You know, we got to be there for one another, and you know, got to reach out. So Lito says, sending love to her parents, daughter, extended family, closest friends, and all of her fans. She was such a firecracker of a presence every time I was around her. Even when she was being subdued, you could still feel the vibrance of her personality. Her energy was contagious, and her smile so warm, sincere, and beautiful. This hurts so bad. It is very painful. Yeah, it's like, you know, you can't anticipate how a certain death or loss is going to hit you. And guys, honestly, not every death in the industry hits me like this. You know, to me, I'm one of those people where I'm like, well, death is something that we deal with, and it is very sad, of course, but it's part of the life experience. It's two things we all have in common. We're gonna be born and we're gonna die. And, you know, so there's part of me that just sort of like has come to terms with things like old age and stuff like that. But it's a little bit different here, and it's a little bit different knowing the struggles that she had, and just honestly, and I know I can always be honest with you guys, and you guys know this about me, unless you're brand new. But it is something that I've struggled with for most of my life. So it hits extra hard, because you want so badly for yourself and for everyone else that feels like you to not feel that way, or to not say those things to themselves in their head, or to not hurt themselves, or whatever it is, or not abuse a substance to try to quiet or numb what you're going through, because that doesn't work either. Thank you for sharing, Lito. I really appreciate you. Dominic, thank you so much for jumping in, Dom. Thank you so much for the comment that you left on the video. Is beautiful, and you know, very the kind of vulnerability like we're talking about. So thank you so very much for sharing that. I'm so happy that that you know, you could resonate and you know, with the message there. And I know there's going to be a lot of tributes out there and everything, and then I know that mine is a little bit of a different flavor for sure, but it was made with a direct purpose. So it's good to know that that's the takeaway from most people out there. And Dom, I will reply to you. I just happened to see it not long before jumping in on the stream, so just wanted to let you know. Hey there, Jason. It has been a really tough one, man. Yeah. You know, maybe I should just start asking you guys some questions. Did you guys, you know, were there people that you were reaching out to? You don't have to get specific or anything, but I know there are a few people where I was like, I just need to reach out and say something here. Yeah, I mean, because I care about others, of course, but also like there's some selfishness there, because it's like, I need to talk to somebody about this, because the things that, you know, the wave of emotions. And I ended up driving around, taking a drive, and you know, sometimes I sing in the car along with music, or hum a tune, because I'm a weirdo like that. And sometimes when I'm thinking these things, it is just, I'll just be honest, guys, sometimes it does help me to just actually say them, even if I'm not talking to anyone. It just, there's something about it, rather than just sitting there and thinking about it. It just, there's something that is the expression, like the verbal expression is comforting. Yeah, you know, I've never seen Nashville, but she was, yeah, talented on the mic as a singer as well. And there's no doubt that Kirby, you know, Kirby brings the Randy kind of energy, right? I mean, Scream 4 has multiple characters that bring that energy. I always thought of Kirby as like the best sort of rebirth of that, you know, that kind of character. You know, it's not like they're trying to replace Randy, but they want that. And it was like the attitude that she's got this sassiness to her. Again, I mean, Spitfire, firecracker, like all those words, those are the words that we think of, right? Because there's that that vibrant energy, right? Yeah, and she's immediately charming and aggressively charming in the Scream films. Hey there, Shoddy. This honestly hit me so hard. She was a great actress and second best part of Scream 2, behind Jill as Ghostface. Well, they're a 1A and 1B. How about that? I hope in Scream 8 they find a way to honor. I haven't even thought of that. I mean, we all were hoping that she would, you know, I think a lot of people were hoping she would come back, but I haven't even thought about a tribute. Hey, you know, if we know the Scream people, I know a lot of folks don't like the Scream people, but if there's one thing they do, it's they will absolutely pay her tribute. I would not be surprised if they write something in there in a, you know, as respectful of a way as possible. God willing, if it's written in there, that it's done respectfully. But I think that with the kind of character that Kirby was and the job that she ends up having in Scream 6, I think there's a way that they could do something respectful, that would include her and honor her work in the franchise and her life. Thank you for jumping in, Shadi. I'm feeling for you, man. Guys, if you don't know Shadi, he's a bit of a young cat. He's a young budding filmmaker. I believe Shadi, I think you're still in high school, but out there putting in the work. So when he's ready to go do his own thing, he's got practice and everything. And Shadi is working on a Scream fan series right now. So it's something that's very, very close to Shadi here. Thinking about you, man. Please feel free. Reach out if you need to. Talk to your friends if you've got friends that are dealing with it too. High school is a great time to open up like that and set the tone for the rest of your life. I was that way in high school. Not everyone was ready for it, but I just didn't know any other way other than to be open about that stuff. Good evening, Tia, Miss Tia Nina, one of our great channel members. I hope you're doing well, Tia. And thank you so much to all the channel members. I made a post for the channel members because usually I go live with them tonight. And it was sort of just like, guys, I don't know if I can do this. And I don't know if we should go live and have it just be us and Morn, or if it should just be public. I really didn't know what to do. You know, again, just wanting to be respectful and everything. And I just appreciate all the channel members that chimed in on that post and gave me their thoughts. So thank you guys so very much. And I think it ended up kind of tipping the scale to being like, I think everyone needs this, you know? Hey there, Cheesy Corn Pop. Welcome on in. I love that icon. Those are my guys. Dave McRae and Vincent DeSanti. Look at that. Hey there, Foz. Thinking about you, man. This is devastating. Absolutely devastating. Welcome in, Aaron. Hey there, Swift. Yeah, man, this is... I don't know. Some of these deaths just take... I don't know. I know they hit us all differently, but some just take a minute to get over, right? I mean, get over. Not even get over. Just to process and try to make sense of it all. And try... You know, when I was speaking with Lito last night, there was a word that he brought up, and I was like, that is a good word to use in this situation, and the word is cruel. It just all seems so cruel. And I think it's unnecessary. And, you know, just to hone in on the mental health aspect, and again, I'm not making assumptions about the cause of death or anything, you know, but just because she spoke so freely about mental health, to bring it, you know, back to that really quick, it's just sort of, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there. I got a lot of things floating around in my head. It just, okay, I know what I was going to say. To get back to the mental health of it all, it's just, you know, when we end up losing people over stuff like mental health struggles or substance struggles, and usually those two things are, you know, hand in hand. It's just like, for what? Like, what, you know, is it because we don't feel like we can talk to one another? I think that's part of it. So what are we doing this for? People are getting buried. People are burying themselves, burying loved ones. People are hiding their true selves until it consumes them, until like something negative consumes them. And for what? It doesn't benefit anybody. You know, somebody losing their life, that's just a loss. It's a loss for that person. It's a loss for everyone that cared about them in any capacity that they cared about them. And I just ask, that's why I say unnecessary. It's cruel. Absolutely it is. And it is so unnecessary. If you're ever hurting or ever feeling like you don't have anyone, I just want you guys to know there are people out there. You can reach out to me. I don't have every answer for every situation, and I'm not a professional, but I can listen. Other people can listen. And then there are resources for everyone if you really do need professional help. Thank you, Steph. Right back at you. Thank you, Jason. She sure knew how to crump. Is that a dance from Bring It On or something? I don't know. I don't know what crump means. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too, is you just think, you know, man, 36, she could have had another like 4 decades, 5 decades of a career, or at least just living, you know? But all that experience and being, you know, a child performer all the way through being an adult, she could have kept it going forever if she wanted to. You know, it's a loss of life and all that, but it's also just a loss of all that potential. Screaming Mad George did pass away. Yeah, totally different views. Parallax here. Of course, I don't want to, you know, it's not about ignoring that or anything. Screaming Mad George was so incredibly talented with the effects work. I mean, what, Society, Nightmare 4? Is it Nightmare 4? I think that's the one. And then the other one that I think about is, it's kind of an interesting one. I think it's Children of the Corn 3 Urban Harvest. But there's the Screamin' Mad George, just the whole, like, it was just so beautifully over the top. But yeah, I mean, absolutely rest in peace to Mad George. I want to keep the focus here on Hayden because, you know, while they both did pass away very close to one another, I just, you know, the tragic atmosphere surrounding the death of Hayden is just, you know, what I want to be focused on here. But absolutely, I mean, it's we've been experiencing, you know, there's going to be loss every year in our community, but it doesn't have to be 36-year-old moms with really young daughters who just lost their brother 3.5 years ago. Like, it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be people that have been struggling and literally bearing their soul to everyone in interviews and books. It doesn't need to be those people. I mean, it really doesn't need to be anybody. But we're going to deal with loss every year as fans. And we need to mitigate the tragedy. Absolutely agree, Brian. It is, I mean, last night I was like, I don't know if I can go to sleep. I had a doctor's appointment this morning and I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to just stay up all night and then try to drive, you know, 40 minutes down the road, down the freeway, like without having slept? Cause it was a, you know, just a really weird energy. Right. And then your mind just races about all sorts of stuff. Sorry guys. I know I'm really behind on the chats. Hey there, Carrie, one of our, moderators here, and a member, channel member as well. Carrie says, hey everyone, the stream is in honor of our beautiful Scream Queen, Hayden Panettiere. Please be respectful, kind to others, and know this is a safe space. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you so much. Blue, welcome on in, Blue. Hey there, Gory, welcome. And guys, if I miss something, if I miss a tribute or something that you really want me to say, please feel free to put it in the chat again. I'm going to be scrolling through here. So if I miss it, it might just be by accident. So please don't hesitate to put it back in there. Yeah. It's, you know, one of the things that I said in the video was that, you know, therapy and everything is great. You know, I mean, I'm not advocating that you don't do that if that's something that works for you or something that makes sense for you or something that you find helpful. But part of the message was a challenge to open up to people who are in our daily lives. Because I think it's really, to have a lifeline that's really close, to not have to call a hotline and speak to a stranger, although those people they're there for a reason and they're damn good at what they do and they should be leaned on when you need them. But if you could give yourself a few people as a buffer before you get to that point, somebody that can pick you up, somebody you can walk to their house, or you can meet up at a cafe or a bar or a restaurant and you can just be with them, you know, that's the challenge here. I just watched Remember the Titans before the stream. I cried the entire time. The themes alone are very intense, but seeing Hayden, I always loved her energy, her bright light, and that performance. I've seen a few clips since her passing, and it is the amount of command. People talk about commanding performances, and that's like, it's like the person's been there forever. There is this glint. That scene where her and Denzel are watching tape and she doesn't want to play with the dolls. Sorry that I don't know the character's name that Denzel is playing. I've never seen the movie. But there's this glint in his eye when during the performance, and there's something about it where Denzel is an absolute, like, what a natural performer and just a warm presence as well. But the glint in his eye is almost like the veil had been pierced. He's kind of sitting there looking at her with this smirk, and it's almost like he's thinking, man, this is a really talented young woman in front of me, or, young girl in front of me, just somebody of his caliber that seemed to be taken aback. And if you can hang with Denzel and you can give that kind of confident performance around a performer like him, those are the things where I'm like, man, I need to watch this movie. I need to go back and enjoy the moments from her career that I've not yet experienced. I love you, Beth Cooper. I remember that movie coming out. I don't remember, like, I don't know anything of the plot of that one. Yeah, she's really good in Heroes. I guess I can gather what the plot would be for Bring It On, All or Nothing. I would imagine it's a cheerleading competition of sorts. Yeah, when Paula sent me the message, it was the TMZ link, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I know, say what you want about TMZ, like, I think some of it crosses the line to exploitative, clearly. But as far as, like, reporting something like that, I don't think that's something they would play with, but it's like, I had to check for myself, because just like you're saying, I didn't assume that Paula was trolling me or anything. I was just like, I need to see it for myself before I allow myself to react. Woke up half asleep and thought it said it was her birthday, and then I got depressed when I realized. And really, I think her birthday is just not even a week away. I think just a handful of days away. Panettiere double features in today's order for sure. Yeah. Fantastic Oracle, welcome on in. Oracle says, I've always struggled with shyness, always afraid to talk to people. Now that I'm in my 40s, I've come out of my shell. Shame it took me this long. That's a great message, man. It's never too late. People are like, people don't change, and there are certain things about us that probably don't really change, but we can change behavior, And yeah, struggling with shyness, being afraid, all that, to talk to people. It's just, at some point you might, maybe it is in your 40s where you just kind of get to that point where you're like, I'm just going to put myself out there, and people can think I'm weird. I'm that kind of way, Fantastic Oracle. Not only do I talk a lot here on YouTube, but if I'm out and about and I'm at the store and something strikes me as humorous, or I notice something about the world that's kind of funny, maybe I'm looking at the fruit with somebody and I've got some comment, and it's just some random person at the store, and I just make some sort of joke or whatever and just make a connection, some sort of connection. It's okay to, something my girlfriend told me recently that her father told her when she was growing up, and it's something I think about a lot, is it's okay for you to use your voice and take up space in this world. And I think, like, that is true all of the time. And especially if you feel like you're dealing with something that you feel like you can't share, it's okay to, use that voice and take up that space in this world. Yeah. It was, I was at my parents' house, and I just felt I was just staring off into the distance. That is wild. It sounds like you didn't find out until early this morning, Shoddy. Hey there, King Matthew. Welcome on in. Well, in a way, but I think she was making a joke that Bambi is just kind of a horror movie because it's so sad. Wesley says, I just listened to her podcast from a couple months ago about her book today at work, and it must have been so hard to hear her story, but now I can't even fathom it. Yeah. I think I have not heard that, and I'm definitely gonna need some time before really diving in. Right now, it's just sort of like the shock of it all, and then just thinking about everyone else, thinking about her family and her friends, and then lastly us. Hey there, Jamie. Jamie's been here since the very beginning, guys. She's probably heard me talk about mental health more times than she could count. Welcome on in, Jamie. I hope you're doing all right. It's really sad. We'll always remember Hayden from Remember the Titans. Saw it with my buddies on the football team and theater back in '99. She shined. And of course, Kirby from Scream. She was awesome. So tragic. Yeah, Jared, welcome on in. Thank you for being a channel member. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing, man. Yeah, she really does shine. Talk about making your presence known. Hayden Panettiere is in something you're going to know damn well pretty quick. Hey there, Merc. Yeah. I guess I'll have to see I Love Beth Cooper. Never seen it before. Welcome in, Derek. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for being a channel member as well. Yeah, I remember when it must have come out late 90s, I think. Right? What is it, 97, 98, something like that? Yeah, I'm guilty of that, Carrie, because I don't know. It just really hit me. And I was I don't know. Felt like I needed to reach out to you about it. Princess of Heart Kairi. Carrie? Or is it Kairi? That's the character she voices in Kingdom Hearts, right? Yeah. I had no idea when I looked through her IMDb. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that she, a lot of actors do voice acting work. But this is something she's been doing for years and years with that series. Since 2007? No, since 2003 for the TV movie. Okay, and the first video game was 2002. So yeah, she's been doing it, voice acting for a really long time. She had been a voice actor. And Remember the Titans was 2000. Loved her in Bring It On, All or Nothing. I need to see that. I've never seen any Bring It On movie. I don't know if I've ever watched a movie about cheerleading. Welcome in, Ryan. One of our channel members, Ryan West there. Hope you're doing all right, man. Thank you for 8 months, Jason. Really appreciate it, man. And again, guys, I apologize if the low energy is killing it for you. I just don't find it appropriate to be all, loosey-goosey and silly on a day like today. They always do that, Jared. Yeah, I just figure, but it's one of those things where I need to not be such a curmudgeonly twat about certain things in my life. And certainly wouldn't hurt to watch Will Patton, Denzel Washington, and Hayden in Remember the Titans. And I'm sure there's other stars that I don't even know about. Welcome on in, Izzy. Says, I'm here with you all, Davey in chat. Rest in peace to a beautiful soul. She brought a lot of charisma on screen, and she will forever be goated. Yeah, she's going to be, man, just bringing it just to the horror fandom of it all. The fact that she came back the way that she did, that they sort of resurrected the character from, the attack that she withstands in the fourth movie is, we've seen a lot of crazy stuff in the Scream franchise now, but by that point in the fourth movie, when you see something like that, you pretty much figure that that's that for Kirby, right? And so the fact that they brought her back, really, it does speak to the goated status here. It's people wanted her back so bad. It's the fervent fans that want to see more and more. You know, we love a character like Kirby. We love a character like Randy. Randy, the character, got taken away from that franchise too quick, and then it felt like, oh no, did we just lose this other character that was so similar? You know, it's true. It is true. And it's a good thing to just put out there when people are grieving, and because there are people that come out and judge how you grieve. It happens for sure. Welcome on in, Adrian. Thank you for joining us. I've been seeing that. I know Carrie is right around that age mark. I mean, I saw an interview with Hayden and Will Patton from Remember the Titans. Sorry, guys. A little jittery here. Shelley Yost, the character, the person who she plays, passed away when she was 35. So it's just, I mean, that's very, very close too, right? It's true, yeah, guys, and even the friends that you think are fine or they say they're fine, if you know, then check in another time, you know. Or another thing you could do is maybe you open that door first and you tell them something that you've been going through, you know. Maybe you extend that, and by doing that, you would let them know that it's a safe place for them to do it too. It's I know I said it in the video last night, but it's very liberating, guys. To get that off your chest. It might seem scary at first. Those of you that have done it, like, you know, it really, the weight, when people say a weight was lifted off my shoulders, that's what they're talking about. Yeah, I didn't even know who she was until Heroes. Yeah, it's kind of wild. She had such a career even just before that show. I think it was like 05 or 06 or something when the show started. Hey there, Shannon. Thank you for joining us. It's very sad. I know. I think about, like, you know, guys, I'm a Scream fan, of course. Like, I do really love the franchise. But I really did. My mind kind of went to all the people that I know, or at least, you know, we all kind of compartmentalize things. The people in the space that I know or that I'm maybe closer with, that I sort of think of in that term of like, oh, wow, these people are like, they're like the huge Scream fans and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think about you guys all first. Well, I hope you're doing well, Merc. I hope you're doing all right, man. You can reach out. Far from Blake jumping on in says, such shocking news. She had one of the best characters in all of the Scream franchise. Yeah. And I loved her in Remember the Titans. It's horrible. Yeah, it is that is the thing, is the shock of it all. You know, 36 years old. And especially for someone, you know, when people are so public about their struggles, we extra root for them, you know? And then we see them move on and get past certain hurdles. You know, in her case, it was kind of getting back into film and all that. And then, you know, releasing her book and everything. And it's, you know, not even after all of that, you know, it's just, it doesn't take very much for it to all just go away. It's so wild to me. Seeing who else we got here. Kirby was my favorite in Scream 4, to be honest. She brought something to that movie that made it so much more entertaining. It is a really great ensemble cast in that film. And I think for her, as somebody that was, you know, I thought of her as like the TV star kind of thing, you know, because of stuff like Heroes and because I missed out on the stuff when she was a child actress. So you know, and there's always that, you know, making the leap from TV to movies. There are some people that kind of get relegated to the TV because they don't always like make that leap very well. But man, it is so seamless with her, and she is just, again, a commanding presence. I think part of what makes this so tragic and emotional for everyone is that Hayden seemed so real, relatable, and human. to everyone. She struggled. She was open and honest about it. And she did what she could to help other people know it's okay to struggle. It's okay to be human. Oh, fuck. Yeah. That's another point too, guys, is we think of these people as superheroes sometimes. I mean, just because of the job they have, we see them as untouchable, or we see the confidence in the characters, and we never think that there could be something dark going on back there, or just some sort of struggle. They are human, you know, and they deal with the same things we deal with. Just because they get to be in front of the lights and the cameras and there's way more zeros on their paychecks than most of ours, you know, at some point they're going to be sitting in a room alone. And I'll tell you what, from my experience, if you struggle with those things, then that can be a dangerous time, depending on what's going on with the rest of everything else. I appreciate that, Merc. You know, I did have a troll in there, but I'm pretty convinced it literally is just a troll. I think I know who it is, but it is pretty shameful when somebody jumps in and accuses me of trying to capitalize on this. It's way off base and factually incorrect, and kind of fits the MO for this person if it is who I think it is. So yeah, too young. And her daughter is far too young to be without a mother. Like, can't lose sight of that. And, you know, this is something Lito and I were talking about. You know, maybe at some point her daughter wants to get involved in the industry. And it's just protect that young girl at all costs. And I don't mean don't let her in the industry. I just mean, like, everything that her mother didn't have to deal with those things, or whatever safeties could have been put in place, you know, that maybe could have forged a different path or opened up different doors for Hayden. You know, if that ends up being something that she wants to do as a part of her mother's legacy, just protect that young girl. And I just feel so bad for her. And I know even with the parents, there's, you know, stuff with the mom and all that. At this point, it's like, it's definitely not my place to judge either way. If her parents weren't good parents, or if they were great parents, they've lost both their children in the last 4 years, in less than 4 years. And I can't help but feel for them. I just can't. So yeah, it's so tragic. Let's see here. Jeff, I don't know how that got through. I thought I'd shut that off, the floating heart. Thank you for sending that in, Jeff. I shut off ads and super chats and stuff. I don't know if I missed something there. I'm not sure. I apologize, guys. Let me see if I can turn that off midstream. I want it to be respectful and be completely transparent what we're doing here. And I certainly don't want one of those trolls to be able to come in and say something because of something like this. So I'm going to see if I can make that change live, guys. Let me see if it'll allow me to do that. Where do I go? Sorry, guys. Sorry about this. Okay. I do appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you. Of course, you know, I appreciate it every time. I just, I had meant to shut all of that stuff off because I just want this to be about us grieving together and celebrating Hayden's life. It's true. I think that's one of the things too. And not to be calloused when older people pass away, but there is something far more tragic about it when it comes like this, right? You can sense how real she was. It was so refreshing that she was open about not being a perfect celebrity. She was human like the rest of us, and I loved her for being genuine. And guys, honestly, like, I don't know if it's part of the culture of Scream. Maybe it is something that, you know, I'd like to think it's something that Wes and Kevin made part of the culture. It seems like Wes, you know, was a different kind of leader on set and in that realm, and a different kind of, you know, director and creative force, because there's a theme of a lot of these people that are in the Scream franchise. of being very personable, not needing to be perfect, being relatable, loving the fans, being kind of regular, but also being able to jump in and do something like that. I mean, Nev lives a pretty private life, but she can jump right back in. I've never met David Arquette myself, but I've seen him at conventions and observed his behavior and the way people are around him, and it looks to be very, you know, don't have to be a perfect celebrity, human being just like the rest of us. And we certainly see that, you know, in Hayden. And I think there's, you know, I think part of that is like when you have those struggles, you're sort of like, I'm, you know, I need some community too, so I'm going to share my struggles. I'm going to share my struggles, and I'm going to find out that there's way more common ground. And if sharing your struggles can save one life, even if it's just yours, it's worth it. And it might be able to save other people too. And I'm sure there are people in this world who were saved by the openness of Hayden talking about these things and being so real about it. Being able to achieve such great success and to reach such heights while fighting your demons, that's like really inspiring shit, right? Thank you guys so much for sharing. I know I'm really behind on everything, but yeah, not trying to speed through anything here. It really does. There is a lyric from one of my favorite bands called Paint It Black. They are a hardcore band from Philadelphia, but the singer and songwriter is a psychiatrist, and he works with teen suicide prevention, was like his main kind of gig. And one of their lyrics, that, you know, it's hardcore punk, but they really tackle some real things. And there's one of the lyrics that always stood out to me. I think it's from their second record. He says, oh no, it's from the first record. The singer and songwriter Dan Yeeman had suffered a stroke in his mid-30s before starting this band. He had played in other bands, and it flipped his life upside down. He ended up getting divorced during recovery, all this crazy stuff. And there's this lyric in one of their songs where he says, guess what? I'm apparently not too young to die. And it hit me right, you know, listening to that record since I was in my 20s or whatever. I was like, man, that is no truer statement has ever been said. We say too young to die. The tragic reality of this world, guys, is there's no such thing as too young to die, unfortunately. And that's why we have to talk, and that's why we have to protect each other and ourselves. It really is. Yeah, 5 days from being 37. Yeah, it is unfair. And life in this world is unfair. It is unnecessary. It's cruel. And I'm just going to keep on saying it, guys. It's another reason why we got to talk about it and why we got to look out for ourselves and look out for others. Thank you for jumping in, Shane. Welcome on in. I'm just going to say it again. I love TurboGrafx 16. Every time I see your logo, it brings me a little bit of joy. Hope you're doing well, Shane. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lito. I appreciate it, man. It was, you know, not very often do I feel like I have to do something on the channel. Like from within, I feel like I have to do it. It's not like, oh, I have to talk about this for this reason or that reason. For me, it was like, this is an incredible opportunity to bring this up and to say that we got to quit hiding. I think so too, Carrie. And you guys have been, thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for being sweet to each other, and you know, to the thoughts and the positive thoughts and the well wishes and the condolences to the family and everything. Thank you guys so very much for being so sweet. Oh, I think I got that one, Prince. If you're still here, it was Heroes. You know, when I was in high school, I kind of felt like that with a couple of my friends, where it was just sort of like trying to be there for them in that way. You know, it is interesting how you can You can be there for others and then turn around and say the worst things to yourself in your head. I'm not saying you, I'm, you know, in my experience, I just know what that can be like. There for others and not there for myself. I think some of us can relate with that when it comes to mental health. It's almost like, oh, I can help someone else. That's not as daunting. But then when you think about your own life, the walls close in, you know? Unfortunately, yeah, she's reunited, and I saw Prince mention Michelle Trachtenberg there, who, you know, they'd performed together, and yeah, and you know, her brother's passing, that's another thing to look out for when people lose someone that's close to them, and pay attention to how they're handling it. It's when someone loses someone really close to them, it's a prime time for kind of like collateral damage tragedy. And yes, this is about 3.5 years later or so, but man, I can't tell you how many times there's been in you know, growing up in the isolated place that I grew up in, there would be a tragedy, and then people would mourn that tragedy in a way where more tragedy would happen because they were abusing substances and stuff. So it's compounding tragedy on tragedy. And so, you know, if you know somebody that's lost someone, or maybe you've lost someone and that's one of the things you're really struggling with, like, check in on those people, share those thoughts if you're having them. I appreciate that, Carrie. I just think if I can't do it, how can I expect anyone else to do it? Right. And whatever, I know talking about that stuff, you're going to get judged, or some people are going to see you as weak. And to me, it's just sort of like, that's kind of like their problem. And it's just sort of like, I feel sorry for you that, you know, it's that some people just can't relate. So they think that something is, they think vulnerability. I mean, literally vulnerability, I suppose, could be, you know, a synonym would be weakness. But I mean, as far as like, we see vulnerability as if it's saying that you're lesser of a person or not worthy of certain things because of that. Fuck that. We got to get rid of that way of thinking. We got to get rid of that way of thinking. Nothing's going to get better if that's the way we are. So yeah, I mean, you know, it comes more from a place of like feeling like, if I don't express this, it's going to take my life kind of thing. It's more of that than it is bravery even, you know. I don't know. It's sort of like, I feel like I have to. And also, like, you guys are so supportive that I feel like I can. So thank you for showing the compassion. And, you know, maybe the person that shows that vulnerability opens the door. The person that's showing the compassion is the one holding the door open. Hey, I got it. You open that door. Let me get that for you. You got some baggage. I got your bags are all over you. You're not going to fit through the door and hold the door at the same time. Let me get the door for you. And we can do that for each other. You guys do that for me, and we can do that for each other. And you all, I'm sure you all have people in your personal lives that you can find that you can do that with as well. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know what crumping is. First saw her in Kingdom Hearts, but on screen it was Law and Order SVU as a child. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's look at I mean, I'm not going to bring it up on the screen. I'm just going to look at it and talk to you guys about it. 27 episodes of One Life to Live. Man, Bug's Life when she was not even 10 years old. The video game and the film. Wow, Message in a Bottle. I haven't thought of that movie in years. Of course, Remember the Titans. 45 episodes of Guiding Light. Joe Somebody with, I believe she played Tim Allen's daughter in that one. 12 episodes of Ally McBeal in 2002. All the Kingdom Hearts, we talked about that. She's got music videos. Wow, Malcolm in the Middle, 4 episodes. I didn't know that either. It's a really long resume, guys. 73 episodes of Heroes. Yep. American Dad for an episode. I love that. 124 episodes of Nashville. I had no idea that Nashville went on that long. I really didn't know. I don't pay attention to television very much, guys, so I just had no idea. And then of course, like, you know, more recently, she was in the she was in an Until Dawn video game back in 2015, and then again in 2024. Must be, is it just a remake, the one that they did in 2024? But yeah, I mean, a lot of different stuff in there. Horror, drama, comedy, animation, you know, video game voiceover work. Wow, Scooby-Doo, Robot Chicken, just all sorts of stuff. An amazing, amazing resume. There you go. And Lito's been there, out there in the comments, showing his support. Thank you so much, Lito. That is, you know, the one kind of engagement I did ask from that video is just that, you know, please feel free to share your own struggles, triumphs, or memories, or, you know, of Hayden, you know. Yes, Ben with the Bring It On. Scream 4 came out the weekend of my 30th birthday. I saw the movie and then took a day trip to my favorite place in the world, New Buffalo, Michigan. I didn't even know that was a place. My photos from that day have the ticket stub with it. That's a good memory. That's a good memory, Dominic. I love Scream 4. It's my favorite sequel in the franchise. And yeah, Hayden is incredible. Incredible. It is wild, too, that, yeah, Cheryl passed away right at around the same age. Yeah. Hey there, Billy. Welcome on in. I'm going to try to catch up a little bit here, guys. Oh, I did not. You know, you may have said that at some point, Tia. Or said that was, you know, that you would, in more general terms or something, because now that you're saying it here, I'm like, does that sound familiar? I'm like, has she mentioned that before? But there you go, guys. Right here within our community is somebody that does that, you know, for a living. These people are, not only are they really good at what they do, one of my buddies from Portland did that as well, Tia. He was in, like, it was like, you know, I don't know specifically how it all breaks down, but his was like the very critical crisis. And the kind of guy he was, I mean, not everyone can do that. It's the kind of man he is. You know, he was a musician as well, and very socially conscious with his music, and so ridiculously smart, talented. He had has the most amazing voice. And I found out that he did that for a living, and I was like, man, it takes a special kind of person, because my buddy Aaron Attica, I don't, you know, that's not his real last name, but that's the stage name. I was like, man, that does take a different kind of person, because he's a very special guy. Yeah, Billy, we're just, you know, we're trying to keep things really respectful here, as far as, you know, we had talked a little bit earlier about perhaps them doing some sort of tribute. And I had mentioned that, you know, if they're going to do something with her character, you know, if they're going to write it into the story, then I think there is a respectful way they can do that to still include the character's existence in the storyline. And I think either way, I think they will pay some sort of tribute to her. You know, in Scream 5, they named one of the male characters Wes. And we could see something as simple as that. We could see, you know, we just don't know at this point. And we don't even, you know, we just don't know. So, but I do just want to, yeah, keep it respectful and just choose our words wisely when we are talking about some of this sensitive stuff so soon after someone's passed away. That is true, and that's a way better way that way to word it, Billy, is that's the special sauce here for what we're doing here tonight. Yeah, maybe they will. I have no doubt they will pay tribute to Hayden in some sort of fashion. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to see if I can skip ahead, guys. Again, if I miss something that you really want to get out there, please feel free to put it back in. Hayden was not just an actress, but a mom, author, and sister who lost her brother too soon. Yeah. And she's a daughter, you know. Thank you for joining us, Paul. Yeah, it is. You're not just losing one thing; you're losing the whole being of the human, right? Missing every fiber, and it affects a lot of people. And there are some people that are going to feel, you know, her parents and her daughter and her close friends are going to feel those effects every day. It's just so tragic. It's so cruel. It's so unnecessary. She did. Yeah, I saw that on her IMDb. Yeah. And then, yeah, as far as like, just, yeah, sorry. I'm not going to, I am not going to try to sit here and police everything here, but we are talking about Hayden Panettiere, guys. Okay. Hey there, Linda. Welcome on in. I thought of you immediately last night when I heard the news, Linda. And I just thought about how the real diehards out there, diehard Scream fans, just like how hard it hits, you know, especially with somebody so young. Yeah. Sending you all the love, Linda. All the hugs. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see here. Feel so bad for family and friends. Yeah. It is so tragic. And unfortunately, sometimes, you know, when people, depending on how well you know somebody, if you know they have those struggles, whether it's a substance or whatever, you know, there may be those sorts of feelings or fears that you have, you know, that you're just like, I hope that never happens to my friend. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because we've seen, not this exact story, but guys, one of the reasons why I think it's so important to talk about this stuff is we've seen a lot of these patterns before. Obviously, it's not the same kind of thing, but this happens way too often in the entertainment world, you know? And all over the world it happens. This is not a United States problem. This is a human problem. You know, I mean, how many times have you... I don't even follow like K-pop or anything like that, but it seems like 3 times a year I see something come across my news feed where some pop star from Korea, or you know what I mean, some pop star from somewhere tragically passed at a young age, you know? We just gotta talk. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk, and not talk about it in the aftermath. We gotta talk about our own shit and welcome people to talk about theirs as well. Yeah. And so, yeah, Linda, you've been watching her since the very beginning. And so I've seen that message so much. And I've seen it particularly from women that are like, I grew up with her. You know, my friend M from Horror Her, we were talking. She's the, you know, the very first person I think I thought of. Once I, you know, after the initial shock, there was probably a good 20 or 30 minutes where I was hanging out with my family and just thinking about everything and feeling so bad for her family. And then when I started driving around, I was like, oh my God, this person, like, you know, my group of like all you people, everyone in Discord that talks about Scream, or the people that really show up and show out when we cover and talk about Scream here. I thought about all you guys. And M was the first person I thought of because she's such a close friend, and Scream it's, as far as horror goes, it's her world, you know? And she was like, I grew up with her, you know? And I think that's probably the reason why we're seeing this huge amount of shock, and it's just having a really profound effect on everyone. Again, sending you all the love, Linda. Yeah, it is. It's a very fleeting life, you know, and a very simple thing can unfortunately end it. Yeah. You know, we got to look out for ourselves and we got to look out for others. Slasher Fred, I normally really appreciate your IMDb facts and everything. I just want this stream to be about honoring Hayden Panettiere. So please, let's just be respectful of that, okay? This is not a place to show off our knowledge or anything like that. This is a place for us to come together and grieve the loss of this young woman. And yeah, the original Bring It On has nothing to do with what we're doing here tonight, okay? More than anything, Hayden was a source of hope and inspiration for me, being so open with her struggles. See, yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. I will forever be in awe of her bravery, strength, and compassion. Yeah, we need more people to be open about those things. We all have them, guys. And I swear, this was something I started saying it in my video last night. I wanted my video to be like no edits at all, but I started saying this thing and I was like, this is not the video for this message. But you know, to say this here on the live, I think it fits. There are people in this world that'll act like they don't have any issues. Like, no, like that's just like the weak pussies that can't do this, can't do that, and like, well, I don't need that, and blah blah. Bullshit. You're a liar. You're disingenuous and you're a liar. There's no fucking way on earth that there's not one human being. Well, okay, I guess if you're a sociopath or a psychopath, then maybe. But there's not one quote unquote normal person on this planet that doesn't struggle with those things. So it's crazy. It's like, if you say you don't struggle with it, then I'm like, well, shit. Now I know that you do, because everyone does, and I know you're a liar. So why don't we just like let it all out? Stop being, you know, disingenuous about those things. Let those things out. We all have them. We all have the capacity. And the more we sit there and act like, no, it's just the weirdos or whatever that deal with that, or whatever sort of stigma and all that kind of stuff, time to throw that fucker in the bin. All that stuff. It's total bullshit. Trying to prove to the world that you're tough by just like gutting it out and then having something terrible happen as a result, it's not worth it. It's not like, what? So you prove to the world that you're tough, but now you're not here anymore. And I'm not talking about her specifically, because we don't know all the circumstances surrounding. I'm just talking about mental health in general. When we hide it, it festers and it destroys people. Figuratively and literally destroys people. I didn't know that. Maybe they mention her. I mean, they didn't technically bring her back, right? I mean, she's not on screen, is she? I don't think she is. Oh, let's see. What else do we got here? Just seeing what we've been live for about an hour 15. I don't know how long we're gonna go, guys. It might just be like an hour and a half tonight. This isn't, you know, I'm not sitting here like, let's just drag it on until every chat gets, you know, brought up. I certainly do appreciate every single one of you guys that's in the chat. If I missed one of your chats, and if it were, you know, something you really want to get out there, like, please feel free to leave whatever you've got in the comments. You know, if you're watching after the fact and you've got something to say, absolutely. Again, share. This is more about the celebration of life. So, you know, celebration of life and work and a tribute to Hayden. But as part of that tribute to Hayden, and one way that I think we should honor her, or one way we can honor her and her legacy, is by being open about these things. So if you have had struggles or triumphs, you know, maybe hopefully you've had, if you've had one, hopefully you've had the other, right? And it doesn't mean all the struggles go away, but it's just share the wins. Feel free to share what you're going through. Maybe you met Hayden or had some sort of interaction with her. Feel free to share whatever stories you got. We're going to go here for about another 15 minutes. But I just wanted to let you guys know if there's, it feels good to get that stuff out. So if your chat doesn't get read tonight, please feel free to jump in and and put the comments down there. And the stream is never gonna have. I'm never gonna put ads on the stream. The stream is not gonna be monetized. So, you know, requesting you to be in the comments is not about engagement. It's about community, and it's about sharing a part of yourself, and it's about us talking to each other and being more open, so we can normalize vulnerability and compassion. Yeah, I mean, was very beautiful. You know, I mean, even in Heroes, and you know what, Hayden's about 7 years younger than me, so what, like I was 24 when Heroes came out, so she was still pretty young, right? Right, is that right? I was 24. Yes, I was 24. But absolutely, I mean, cute American blonde in a cheerleader outfit, kind of tough to, you know, not think she's completely adorable. Andrew, welcome on in, man. Thank you for joining us. Andrew says, much love to y'all. Keep being an awesome community. Much love to you, baby. Baby Davy. Oh my gosh, Andrew. I'm trying to keep this, you know, legit here, and then I just said baby instead of Davy. Quick fun story. When I worked at the pizza shop in Portland, I would say, thank you for calling Hot Lips. This is Davy. Some people thought I said baby. More than once, people thought I said baby. Maybe I did say baby after that little flub there. But Andrew says, we're going to rewind it. Much love to y'all. Keep being an awesome community. Much love to you, Davy. R.I.P. Hayden Panettiere. Thank you for jumping on in, Andrew. I do appreciate you, and sending love right back to you, brother. Oh my gosh, Linda. I'm so sorry. Linda says, I lost my brother the same year she lost Jansen. Seeing her be open about her grief really helped me accept mine. I pray Hayden is at peace, reunited with Jansen. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Linda. I can only imagine. I've been so fortunate that you know, I haven't had that experience in my life yet, but you know, it's for most of us, for those of us that are fortunate enough to, you know, keep on going, we experience those things, and I'm so sorry. You know, it's got to be extremely heartbreaking and tragic to lose a sibling, especially, you know, I feel like we're somewhere around the same age-ish, so I would imagine losing your brother, you lost him relatively young, so I'm so sorry. It's pretty wild the way that you know, that grief, losing somebody so close, can really really affect people. You know, Lido, it's interesting. It's you know, when I'm sitting there driving around in my car thinking about all this stuff, it's those moments where the waterworks turn on for me. It's those moments where just saying something out loud gets me choked up. I mean, when I was trying to, you know, I reached out to Carrie last night. It was I reached out to her about something totally different. I didn't really expect to say what I ended up saying. The two were, in my mind, related somehow, but I just found that as the words were coming out of my mouth, there was a flutter in my voice, and I was like, oh my, I'm getting like choked up mid-sentence. And yeah, it's difficult. I think there's something about sort of curating the stream here that's sort of keeping things in check for me, but it's tough. We think they're superheroes and forget they're regular people. Exactly. The commonalities. And you know, guys, that whole thing, just to remind ourselves that they're just, you know, they're people too. Not only is it, you know, beneficial in that it brings added sensitivity from our end when we think about them and all that. But you know, when you do get to meet these when you do get to meet these people at a convention or something like that, you know, book signing, whatever, how refreshing must it be when they get to talk to a fan that just talks to them like they've been friends for 20 years, you know? Yeah, you're excited as a fan, and sometimes our giddiness can sort of come through a little bit more, but there's got to be something refreshing too about showing them that, yeah, like you're a person just like me, and I'm gonna give you the treatment just like that. I'm gonna make you feel normal, because man, being in that kind of celebrity position, I can only imagine. But I gotta say, for some of those people that reach really, high heights of stardom, there has to be something refreshing at some point about somebody treating them like a regular person. My old life, you know what I mean? Something like that. Jamie. Yeah. Yep. It's just so fucking sad. Oh, I just really could have never guessed that would happen. Never could have predicted it. Never could have anticipated that would be her. Not that I would wish it on anyone or assume that it would happen to anyone else, but it's like, really, for her, I feel like this a lot of the same ways you guys do, like that she had overcome so much, that it was like the trajectory was moving up in quality of life and everything, you know what I mean? And so it's just so sad. Again, we don't know all the details of the circumstances. It doesn't really matter, ultimately, or at least to us as fans, we're so far removed from it. It really shouldn't ultimately matter to us. But either way, no matter how that flame gets snuffed out, is so sad at that age. Hey there, Gav. Welcome in, man. Thank you for joining us. It's been brutal, and I'm brutally behind on the chats. Jeff, you didn't know. Sorry, man. I hope you're still in here. It wasn't that. That's on me. The tab, guys, I'll just be honest with you. The tab that said gifts, I thought that was gifting memberships. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, I wanted that option to be open if somebody is looking for a tighter knit group that they can be a little more open with, and a little, like, just a tighter sense of community here. I wanted to leave that open, and I was wrong, because I had left open the gifts. I thought it was membership gifting. So that's my bad. You did not do anything disrespectful, Jeff. We appreciate you, and you didn't even come close, man. That's my mistake. Mental health seemingly has become more talked about, but I do think there are a lot of double standards present. Certain mental anguish is accepted, but others are mocked. Yeah, I mean, it should never be mocked. It should be talked about for what it is, right? Mental struggles should be talked about openly as they are. So they shouldn't be sugar-coated, and they don't need to be called something that they're not. And it doesn't need to be the kind of thing where people have to accept someone's psychosis just cause or anything. We're not really talking about that. We're talking about being open and sharing those things, and being honest about the struggles we have. So yeah, I mocking others for mental anguish, I can't get on board with that. Double standards, I mean, I think a little bit, yeah. I think, honestly, guys, I'll just say this. I think there's a lot of times we see in the media where it's like, men don't talk about their feelings enough, and men need to share their feelings and be like more vulnerable and blah, blah. And it's like, no, everyone does. Everyone does. And the key thing, one of the points I wanted to make, is we need to be compassionate to receive that. We do. Because, not gonna lie, society tells men to share their feelings. Guess what happens when they do? No one likes it. Women lose respect for men sometimes because of it. Men lose respect for men sometimes because of it. People might look at you as lesser or completely weak. So they'll sit there and say, talk about your issues, and then you do, and they're like, pussy. And it's like, we can't do that. It's got to be for everyone. It's a human thing. And we gotta, I don't know. It's not about rewiring the way that we think. It's about finding a new path forward, forging a new path where we don't have as much loss. Billy, some of these questions I can't answer, and I don't think they're the questions to be asking right now as far as cremation goes and stuff like that. I get that feeling too, Aaron, that Scream was like a family. Wes was a warm, gentle, but vibrant, energetic leader and man. Yeah, I think you're right, Lito. I think I've gotten a lot of insight as to the kind of guy Wes was, like through you and through your experiences and your fandom. But he always did seem like a soft-spoken, you know, unassuming for the kinds of some of the movies that, at least, you know, in the horror community, the movies that we know him for, right? Sort of like a, that's the guy that did Nightmare on Elm Street? That guy? Like the really, like, gentle guy? Ron, welcome on in, man. One of our great channel members. Ron says, live every day, live like every day is your last, because it damn well could be. And that's true too. We never know, guys. We never know. None of us woke up yesterday thinking that we would get that news. Certainly her family and friends didn't expect to hear it, you know. And part of living every day like it could be your last is, like John from Day of the Dead says, let go of what you got now. And that line always sticks with me. Let go of what you got now. Like, get that burden off your shoulders, you know? Just do it. Oh my gosh, Billy, I appreciate having you here in the chat, and I know I'm a half hour behind on all these chats and stuff, but we are trying to, this is about having a respectful tribute to Hayden Panettiere. So, you know, anything that seems like kind of exploitative of anyone's death or anything like that is just really not appropriate. Chris from Chris Watches and Talks Movies is joining us. What's happening, Chris? Thank you for joining us. Says, hey everyone, what a shock. Didn't expect the news about Hayden. Watched her in Scream 4 in a film that really gave her start in film. Bring It On, All or Nothing. Yeah, it's man, she's so damn good, Chris. Thank you for jumping in and sharing your thoughts. Rebel Sky, another one of our channel members, says, very sad, but love your tribute to her. I didn't do it. Oh, I did do a little tribute to Reggie. I did. Yeah, I didn't do a separate video or anything, but love your tribute to her and Reggie. This makes me hate death more. Davey, but you are a light to all of us, sir. Keep doing the Lord's work, bringing us together and keeping us together. Thank you so much, Rebel Sky. I really do appreciate it. And guys, I just, you know, in the spirit of just making things, you know, is just respectful and keeping it 100, as the kids say. Like, I do, like, I so appreciate that you guys are, you know, thanking me for this, but it's all of us, right? So I do hit the live button. I hit the button that says go live. It's true. And I'm not trying to take away anything from the lovely words you're saying, Rebel Sky. And a lot of you guys have been really sweet, and I absolutely appreciate it. And I wanted to do this for all of us, right? So, and I want to do this because I'm sick of seeing the loss, and I'm sick of seeing people feel like they can't talk about the real shit in their lives. So, if that is the Lord's work, I hope, I mean, I'd like to think in some way it is. I mean, really just trying to look out for people. Thank you so very much, Rebel Sky. I appreciate you very, very much. And, I mean, you guys have kind of helped me keep it together, right? So if I can bring more and more people together, or just what we do here on this channel can bring more people together, hell yeah. We can have more meaningful conversations when it comes to tackling the serious stuff. And then guess what, guys? We can, for the most part, be nerdy and be free in that nerdiness. Isn't it liberating to share that part of ourselves as well? That part that also can sometimes be criticized, not all the, it's not like anything serious, but it's like, we do have some strange interests, and sometimes people are like, wow, those are some strange interests and I don't understand them at all. So, and we get to be open about all of that nerdiness, and now it's an opportunity for us to be, even more open about the things we struggle with. Let's see. Guys, I am going to wrap things up here. Well, here, we'll just see how long we go. I don't want to cut it off just to cut it off. And Carrie says, to be transparent, I always struggled with low self-esteem. I was always awkward. I'm okay admitting I'm not okay sometimes, but I also don't tell anyone. I suffer in silence. I'm still learning. Same. Suffer in silence. It's like the name of the game. And that's why I'm like just trying to put it out there for us to not do that, but it's the inclination of people that feel that way, is just to suffer in silence. No one wants to hear you bitch and complain. Someone else's life is worse than yours. You're going to be a burden to other people. Those are the, you know what I mean? Those are the things that float around. And so, what I've done is when I get into those spirals or something, and each one of us, you probably need to find something that works for you specifically. But some sort of like mantra, or maybe you have a note on your phone, or maybe you keep like a little book with you and you've got like some quotes, that just something that like reminds you that the way you feel right in that moment is not the entirety of your life and your existence. Something that reminds you of that there's a way bigger world, and that you're still very important, but this is not worth doing anything drastic over, or not worth cutting yourself off from others or suffering in silence. And I'm still learning too, Carrie. My girlfriend made me watch Ice Princess earlier with her and Michelle Trachtenberg. Sad to watch. Yeah, I've never seen that one. Is that like the Ice Princess? Is that a remake of, or a version of the Hans Christian Andersen story? Or is that something else that I'm thinking of? Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, the resume is massive, right? It's just crazy to think about how much longer it could have been. Let's see what else we got here. Bug's Life was my introduction, but Scream Forest, Kirby, and Until Dawn just had such a hold on me. Yeah, I mean, I saw Bug's Life. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theater. I just didn't know that she was in it. I knew it was like, was it Dave Foley that's the lead in Bug's Life? There were like a couple of the actors that I knew. I just didn't know at that time with the younger performers. I was not as nerdy back then about finding out who was in everything, or, as far as movies go. Hey there's a beach in New Buffalo. How about it? How about it? It is. Dot is Albee's real name, yeah. Let me see if I can catch up to where you guys are right now, because I would love to just be current. Okay, here, current. Oh, it must be different then. It must not be the Hans Christian Andersen. Carrie says, if I get to that point of my depression looming over, I listen to music, or I do reach out to someone close who I know will listen, which is usually my mom. That's lovely that you've got, having a family member, even better, at least one family member, if you can, go to with that kind of stuff. Hopefully, to varying degrees, most of your family members, or all of them, right? That's blood, Those are the people that should always have your best interest at heart, and always be willing to, love unconditionally. It's a powerful thing, man. Unconditional love. It's crazy. I don't think most people can handle that, or handle the concept, but it's there. It is there. The pain that you felt, you can only heal by living. One of my favorite, BTVS. Oh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Whew. I figured it out, Linda. I was like, oh no, oh no, I don't know this acronym, but I'm like, ooh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It is true. Yeah, the pain that you felt, you can only heal by living. Welcome in, Aaron. Hope you're doing well, man. This is it's been a wild 24 hours. Scroll up a bit, Davey. You'll like it. Let's see here. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? I don't know. I mean, I like a lot of what I'm seeing. Gavin says I share everything I've been through because feeling alone is what makes it 10 times more unbearable. 100%. 100%, Gav. It doesn't matter if people think I'm a pussy. I'm chilling and doing better now. That's the mindset we all need. Like, that's a man right there. You know what I mean? Like, it is sort of like, hey, take me, warts and all, or fuck off, kind of. I mean, I don't want the overarching theme of this, lovely tribute stream to be that, but it's also like, hey, if if you are gonna have a problem with me like being open, then honestly, like, I would just sort of like kind of pity that person, because they're probably gonna need somebody at some point in their lives, and if they say they don't, then they're probably gonna be lonely, and unfortunately, kind of sad. Oh, let's see here. David joins us. One of our channel members says, hey there, I knew her from the Kingdom Hearts franchise, so a lot of my friends in that community are devastated. Yeah. I mean, she hits so many different kind of fandoms, David. I mean, she really does. The side of her that did Nashville and all that, that's one fandom right there with the music and country. And then Kingdom Hearts, and then Heroes goes for like the comic book nerds, but also just people that liked good television. Obviously Scream, we know who that resonates with. I mean, really peppered throughout her career are all sorts of different audiences. The soap operas, totally different audience there. Let's see what we got. Jamie, you might just have to put it back in there. I'm not sure. Jamie says, I think this is really good for all of us right now. I know it's helping me. It's that fellowship, guys. It's the coming together, That's why when people, have a church or something, that they meet together, because it feels good to have that camaraderie and share that common message. And we do it in our own way here when we get together for streams. And usually it's really light, but it's still a communion of sorts. And it's, really, guys, it's a testament to like the maturity of the group. And it's a testament to the character of every single person in the group and in the community, that we can have fun with the fun stuff. And then we can take the somber and serious somberly and seriously. I may have missed it, Jamie, but if you want to put it back in. Yeah, I might, I could scroll through it all, but it would be a bunch of dead air with me trying to like find, this or that. But let me see. Because I don't want to just leave all that stuff hanging if there's some really good stuff. Or when I say really good stuff, I just mean people sharing, Aaron, okay. This might be kind of where this all starts. Because it seems like, let's see here. And guys, for some of us that are just, haven't been as active as others, I'll just probably highlight some of the folks, like, Aaron's chimed in a couple times, but we want to grab some of these here. Aaron says, I deal with depression, but thank goodness it isn't as bad as it used to be. It's almost more than what I can count on with two hands that I've attempted, in the past. Oh my gosh, man. That is, I'm so sorry, Aaron. I'm, as somebody that's had the dark thoughts and the negative talk in my head since I was 7 years old or 6 years old or whatever the hell it was. I feel so fortunate that it had never gotten to that point with me, but probably because I'm honestly just too chicken to do anything about. But I just put that when I was a young kid. I put that off limits. I told myself no matter how bad things got that it was never worth entering that realm or flirting with that realm. So I just looked at it as an absolute no way for me. And that's, you know, just, it's a very personal thing, you know, with that. But I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for, I mean, guys, this is, you know, people sharing parts of themselves. This is important and this is what we need to do. And this kind of discourse is going to save lives. It's not something that should be ignored or avoided. It should be handled properly and with care. We appreciate you, Jeff. Now, hopefully I didn't miss anything you know, else that was very pertinent. Again, if I do miss something, please feel free. You know, if it's important to you, it's important to me, it's important to the community. If I do happen to miss something, please don't take it personally, or don't take it as me saying that what you typed isn't important. I may have just missed it. Please feel free to put it in the comments. We do love you, man. And Aaron, you are incredibly valued. Personally, just to me, as a you know, member of the community, Aaron, and I know I've said this before when we're just kind of having our regular streams, but you guys, just so you know, Aaron and I have got, you know, some differences of certain kind of thoughts or whatever inclinations or this and that, but Aaron is always so respectful and, you know, respectful to me, thoughtful to me. I return that to him. And so if there's ever something that we, you know, engage in conversation about something that can, I think for a lot of people, be something very difficult for people to talk about without just getting in a name calling right away, you know, like we just have very constructive back and forth and very understanding back and forth, even if it's not oh, I walk away from the situation and I just totally agree with you. It's not that. It's more of like a reminder to one another that you don't have to agree with somebody 100% of the time to get along with them 100% of the time. You know, it's not an all or nothing thing. So Aaron, I just want you to know, I mean, obviously there are things I appreciate about you as far as like, you know, we're both punk rock fans, and I always cherish and treasure that in people. It's something that to me is such a huge part of who I am, and like the kind of person that I became is because of that culture and because of that music. So I love that about you. But I think like what really gets me jazzed about you being a part of our community is that I know that, hey, we've got commonalities and we've got differences, and this guy has been hanging out here for years, and never once has one of those differences gotten to a point where either one of us has been disrespectful, or either one of us has felt like the other isn't welcome. You know what I mean? That's a really powerful thing in this world, and something we need a lot more of, right? So I appreciate the hell out of that from you, Aaron. So yeah. Not that you need me to say all that stuff, but I just, hey, in the interest of just sharing, yeah. You're so welcome, Carrie. It was, I honestly recorded one and I was like, I have to delete that. I'm like a blubbering idiot right there. I have to like try to compose myself. I can't lose it while I'm trying to say something really nice and sweet to my friend. Well, I don't really want to get into the, like, I've read things too, and just for the purpose of this stream, Ryan, I just want it to be about, you know, honoring her. But yeah, I mean, like, just so you guys know, I've probably seen the same kind of things that you've seen, and there's such little information out there that I think it just like sort of leads to speculation, and I would just like to stay away from all of that stuff. But you know, regardless of the circumstances, I think the conversation we're having about the mental health stuff is so relevant because it was such a big part of who she was, about being upfront with that stuff. So again, not trying to tie the mental health thing you know, to a cause of death, regardless of what the trolls say. I'm really grateful for this community too. It is amazing. It is so amazing, Linda. Thank you for sharing that. It's when I started this channel just over 3 years ago, I just wanted to talk about horror movies because I had a lot to say. I didn't know that I would be making friends and connecting with people in such a profound, meaningful way. It's incredible. It's just amazing. I'm so happy I started the channel with all the other, some of you guys, you know, depending on where you follow me or how well you know me. I mean, you guys know that the last year has been kind of weird with some stuff, and it's stuff that's been brought on from people that I've met in this space, but it's just this little blip of negativity, and there's this sea of absolute beauty that I just get to, you know, float on because of starting the channel. So if you're out there and you're thinking about starting your own channel, you just absolutely should. Absolutely should. Jamie says, I'm struggling with depression. I take meds. I never talk about it. I deal with a chronic illness that is incurable but manageable again with meds, or with, again, meds. I never talk about it. I cover my pain with humor. A lot of people do. She says, that's my truth. A lot of people do. And I think it's okay to use humor, you know, way better coping mechanism than some of the alternatives, right? You know, I think it's also, everyone's wired a little differently too, Jamie. So it's like, you know, some people are wear it on their sleeve. I'm kind of in that realm, but there are things that sometimes I just keep buried down below too, you know? And yeah, the humor is a great way to cover up the uncomfortable. You know, it's a go-to for a lot of people. That's why you see people like, you know, you might see somebody that, or maybe there's a comedian and you find out this comedian's been depressed forever. Somebody like Robin Williams or something that dealt with all this stuff. And you just never know because they're the funniest person out there, you know, or somebody like Chris Farley that struggled with all sorts of, you know, it wasn't just the substance stuff. It was all the, you know, the way that his weight affected his, you know, like the body image and everything, and, you know, feeling alone and just, you know, so we do have our different coping mechanisms for everything. And, you know, humor isn't the worst, but I thank you so much for sharing and sharing that part of yourself. For you to say, I never talk about it twice, for you to put that out there, that's the bravery, that's the courage, that's the opening of the door that we're talking about, so people in your life can hold it open for you. You can make it through with your baggage, and you can drop the baggage once you're in there, you know, but that compassion to hold the door open. Thank you for sharing, Jamie. Had a bad few years in my youth. A cousin was hit by a car in '79. He was only 2. Oh my God. And my grandpa died from a gunshot in '81. He thought it was unloaded. Oh, fuck. Oh my God, Aaron. Life started feeling very off. Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, Aaron, I know you're a bit older than me. I don't know how old you were in, you know, in '79. You know, having to deal with a cousin dying that young, that is tragic. Doesn't do that kind of lost justice. And an accidental, you know, gunshot. Oh my gosh. And your grandpa must have been relatively young at the time. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I mean, those sorts of things will, you know, start making you think that life is completely fucked and totally unfair, right? You know, it's life experience, you know, it shapes us so much, you know. I like I've said before, you know, probably a couple times this stream, I could only imagine. You know, I've been, you know, life has been relatively easy for me in that sense, you know, of not losing somebody that close in that tragic of a manner. You know, I can only imagine. So it makes a lot of sense, like why you know, would have some of the struggles you've been having or you had then in your youth. And I'm so happy that you got through it. And you know, everyone, all your family and friends and everyone whose life you've affected since then is probably pretty damn happy too. Maybe there's a couple people, you know, we all got our we all have our bumps in the road, but you know, like, I'm happy you're here, man. Thank you for sharing. Oh my goodness, guys, this has been very awesome. I'm just kind of skimming through some of the comments here. I love you guys so much for sharing all this and just for being here. And again, I thank you guys for being open and sharing. And you know, we're gonna get back into our regular swing of things and all that stuff that will come. But I want us to not forget this too, you know. And I don't know what we do on the channel. Maybe we do a mental health check kind of thing, you know, every so often. I don't know. If there's something that you can think of, if you could do me the favor of letting me know in the comments, because the live chat will just kind of go away and the comment will, like, you know, make me aware of what's going on. But it would be really cool. And then, you know, all of this just makes me think, you know, we've been raising money for the St. Mary's Food Bank, and I love that. I want to finish out our goal of, I think it's $2,000, which we'll probably do this fall and get even beyond that. But it's got me thinking, like, man, there's got to be a local place that I could find here in the Phoenix area that, you know, some sort of charitable organization that works with mental health. Maybe we can do something like that. Maybe we can donate in Hayden's name, or if there's somebody that, you know, you've lost in your life and you want to, you know, dedicate it to them as well. Just, you know, just something that to where we can talk about it again, of course, but also try to directly provide some resources. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm getting choked up just talking about that. I just like when people help other people, and it gets me a little emotional. I'm sorry, because we do a lot of not helping each other, and it's really beautiful when people do. It is still tonight. It is true. Okay, let's see. Russell, I'm telling you, Scream 4 is really, really good. And that first season of Heroes is about as perfect as that kind of television show could be. It was a really smart television show. Thank you for putting it in there again, Jamie. My husband had a heart attack at 38. I almost lost him. It was terrifying. So I can relate to all of this. He was so young. It was hard to accept, but he's been taking good care of himself since. That is scary. My Uncle Al, who just passed away last year, one of the only uncles that I really, you know, a lot of my relatives, I have a lot of relatives, and I didn't live close to them growing up. But my Uncle Al, who was actually in the Coast Guard Academy with my dad, he met my aunt, my mom's sister, because of like that connection. He had, you know, he found out in his, it was maybe 36, 37, he had to have angioplasty. And then it happened like a couple years later, and they're trying to figure out what the heck. And it was like, he was probably about my age, like mid 40s. And they finally found out, like, you've been diabetic like your whole life, and like we just didn't even know. So it was doing all of this damage to his heart, essentially. But he was, you know, able to, through surgeries and change of diet and everything, was able to, you know, to keep on going. But it was one of those things that I remember hearing about it from my mom. You know, I was a little kid. This is like late 80s when this happened. And it was really scary. And then now that I'm at the age I'm at, and I think like, wow, that is so incredibly young that he was dealing with that stuff at that age, right? I'm so happy to hear that your husband is taking care of himself. I think you told the story of that heart attack before, Jamie. Was that a Jamie induced event? Thank you for sharing that, Ryan. You know, I really love a lot of the content those guys have over there. They are such a big channel. Like, yeah, you probably have to drop like a $20 super chat to get your thing read. You know, I'm just guessing. I don't even know. I'm just saying, like, I frequent channels, Ryan, where they only bring up super chats. They would never bring up one that isn't, unless somehow it really resonates. Somehow. And you know, that's those, everyone gets to run their channel the way they want to and all that stuff. The guys from Wham are very successful and they've built up something over there, but it's something that I always wanted to have here, Ryan. And you can, you know, Jamie can attest to that, that it's something early on that once the channel was starting to grow, it was a pledge that I made where I was like, I'm going to keep this channel about sharing the space with you guys for as long as humanly possible. If it gets to the point where there's 200 people in the chat, I'm still going to be doing everything I can to get to the stuff that is, like, you know, pertinent to the conversation. And there are some channels that do a really good job, like Garrett from Born to Be Rad, Christian from Planet CHH. Those guys have a lot of people in their streams and they're awesome about getting to a lot of the folks. Very, you know, again, it's like you're grabbing stuff that's pertinent to the chat. So if you're participating in the actual conversation, it's very likely they're going to bring it up. So there's plenty of people that really do that. But I appreciate the kind words, Ryan. You know, if there's one thing that I just try to do well, it is being personable and just being real and being, you know, accessible and all that kind of stuff. So I do really appreciate it, man. I've also attempted and am here to say you honestly never know what beautiful things wait around the corner. Yeah. Guys, I want to share with you, I want to make sure I don't get the quote wrong. It's something that I saw recently and I've been thinking about it. And I think it applies to what we're talking about here. So let me see if I can find it. Let's see here. Vincent van Gogh. You guys know Vincent? He was a painter. Bit of an ear cutter, you know, what can you do? Lovely red beard by all accounts. Kind of looks like Daddy Deadite from Evil Dead Burn. This quote, and I think this applies to what you're kind of getting at here, Linda. And I think of it also as like, if you're working on something, a creative project, you feel like, man, if I pour my passion into this thing, you never know what it could become. I think a lot of us have stuff like that. Maybe you write poetry, maybe you're a painter, maybe you're working on a book, maybe you're working on a movie, whatever it is. There's this quote from Vincent van Gogh, and I believe he said it to, so he sent this in a letter to his brother Theo on January 26th, 1885, the very same year that Doc Brown and Marty McFly went back to Hill Valley. And here's the quote. Vincent van Gogh, quote, "If I am worth anything later, I am worth something now. For wheat is wheat, even if people think it is a grass in the beginning." How about that? If I am worth anything later, I am worth something now. Even just that right there. Excuse me, guys, bit of a dry throat. That's something that's so important to remember when you're working on that project or when you're going through a dark time. Just think to yourself, what would, like, this book ain't done being written. And if that value is somewhere down the line, then that means that currently right now I am working on cultivating the value. The value has not yet been cultivated, but the value is there. And it's about getting to that value. And you know, of course, not all of our dreams come true, but coming from Vincent van Gogh, this was at a time when he was struggling. Spoke about his true internal worth despite lack of fame. He was struggling in everything. I don't know how famous he was at this point in 1885 or whatever, you know, but it's just something where he's like, that is a quote of true belief in oneself right there. Russell, I'm so sorry. You've shared that before as well, and it is that is unthinkable. When I was living in Juneau, one of the priests I grew up in a Catholic church, and one of the priests that we had, he had been married, and he lost his wife and his daughter in a car accident, and then joined the, became a man of the cloth after. He also used to go and give people food and water and stuff in the streets of Oakland, and was stabbed like 6 or 7 times during his work out there, which is crazy to think that you keep on going out there and doing it. I mean, that is, say what you want about organized religion, but that's a Christian living by the book, if you know what I mean. I'm so sorry to hear that, Russell. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you, man. There's just certain times where you just kind of grind everything to a halt, and we got to talk about the real stuff and tell each other that we love one another and all that, right? It is a really good feeling, isn't it? Isn't it a hopeful feeling, Aaron? It's like, oh, wow, this can exist. We can have this world. Not everyone is going to want to live by those rules, but I think more of us do want to live by those rules than not. I think social media makes it tough. Absolutely. All right, guys. Oh my gosh, we're at, wow, 2 hours. Okay, well, that last half hour just went right by, didn't it? That's life. Sometimes life can feel like it just goes by. Absolutely. Thank you for joining in, Crime Scene. Appreciate you joining us, man. Yeah, worrying about movies or worrying about, when these things happen, it's like we all get annoyed at little things, like, you're at work and something doesn't go the way you want, or like with me, a piece of technology doesn't behave the way you want it to, and you get upset, and then you take a step back and you think about how there are people that are like really dealing with shit right now, and people that have like lost, or people that are, there's people all over the world that are struggling. And then in the spirit of what we're talking about today, it's just really about honoring Hayden and celebrating her life and her work. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to, yeah, that's what I thought you had said that before. So I didn't want to broach the joke topic, but I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a cowgirl situation. Jigsaw says I walked away from, oh, I must have missed something, Jiggy. I'm so sorry. What did I miss from before? I was almost a goner 7 years ago from a car accident, and I don't even drive. Oh my gosh. I was in a scary accident where I wasn't driving either. Luckily, everyone was okay. It was scary in the moment. Luckily, everyone was okay. It changes the kind of passenger you are. I might annoy people a little bit more with my, sorry, I'm looking out, just trying to help. Walked away from that with a severe broken and fractured right arm, but just minding my business, riding my bike home. Oh my gosh. Oh, so you were not even in the vehicle. Or when you say bike, do you mean motorcycle, or do you mean like bicycle? Let's see here. That is wild, Jiggy. That is wild. I living in Portland, it was one of those things where you're always looking out for cyclists, of course, and you wish they would kind of, at least in that city, you wish they would look out a little bit more. I mean, obviously there's some people that are very vigilant, but there's a sort of way of thinking out in that part of the country where it's sort of like, oh, you can't hit me, like that would be against the law and that would be a jerky thing to do. And it's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's like not possible. Like it would suck. Like, but I can't even imagine trying, riding a bike around like in a city and having to look out for, it's scary enough being in a car with people that are in cars. I'm still head on a swivel in a car. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Gaz jumping in from New Zealand. Welcome on in, Gaz. Says, chin up, bud. I lost an ex who I still carried a flame for at the end of 2022. She was a horse jockey, fell off a horse on live TV. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, regardless of being an ex or not, or whether or not you carried a flame, this was somebody that was really important in your life, right? So it's still a loss. I'm so sorry, Gaz. That's and for obviously her family, everyone that is witnessing that. I mean, that's a very scary, serious thing. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Thank you for sharing. And again, I don't know if I've tried to remember to say thank you to everyone, but really thank you every single person that shared something vulnerable, shared part of yourself. That's the first step. You know, we have to open up the conversation. One of the things I love about this channel, or love most about this channel, is the interaction you and the channel members have with one another. It's a very special community. I just, you know, especially when it comes to channel members and stuff, whether you pay $1 or $5 or $10, like, really doesn't matter to me. Like, the fact that anyone and people that super chat or whatever, the fact that anyone would take hard-earned money out of their pocket and you know, be willing to support what I'm doing here with the channel, I mean, that's so flattering and humbling, and yeah, I cherish it. I really do. It is a really good quote. That's a good one to keep in mind. That's a good one to share on the Instagram stories or whatever every now and then, just to like put a little something out there for people. Like, hey, you working on that project? You never know. Or like you said, Linda, are you feeling down? Do you feel like this is the end, or there's no way out of this? Like, you don't even know. A lot can change in not that much time. I don't know. All right, guys, I think that is going to wrap it up here. It's true. We're thoughtful, kind people. Yeah. And and the thing is, Aaron, is I think that's one of the inclinations of humanity. Somehow we've gotten away from that because there's so many of us. We're so aware of everything, and we're aware of everything that happens in the world. It used to be so much smaller, and we just had to care about our own little community. Like, literally the 30 people that are here in the chat. Like, it used to just be little pods of people, and we got big. Everything got bigger and bigger. And I do think that a lot of people, there's a lot of care, but there's also a lot of bullshit pressure to put on a front and act like you got no cracks in the facade, you know? Oh my, yeah, please don't drink and drive, guys. It is in this country, in the United States of America, I don't know what the numbers are like in Canada. Russell, if you know those, or if any other Canadian in the house knows those, but in the United States of America, on average, 3,000 people lose their lives to drunk driving, specifically drunk driving accidents. It's too much. That's as many people as we lost in the World Trade Center attack, and that happens every year because people can't call a cab or an Uber, or someone can't be a DD, you know? It is a great quote. I love it. Yeah. I like to paint and draw. It's very therapeutic, and especially if your live is on, it's a whole vibe. I also want to say, anyone in recovery, I'm so proud of you, and I'm sending so much love. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're recovering from, you know, any sort of substance abuse or anything like that, if you have like conquered a demon, you know, you've jumped that hurdle and it's like way in so far in the rear view, you can't even see it, you know? That's something to hang your hat on, you know? It's, yeah, something to be very proud of. Much love. Much love to all of you guys. I'm going to wrap it up there. We're about 2 hours, 10 minutes. I didn't anticipate that we would be going so long, but I'm so very grateful and thankful for everyone sharing, and really appreciative of you guys, you know, being willing to jump in here. like I said, I didn't know if we needed some time. You know, sometimes it's just like a couple days to process or think about stuff, try to make sense of it in our own way. But I could tell there's a hurt going on here. And it wouldn't make any sense for me to put out the video I did telling us that we need to have the conversation, we need to talk about it, and then be like, well, I'm not ready to talk about it now, so I'm going to make everyone else wait. And I'm so happy that we did this tonight. And it might not be the last time we talk about this, because I have the feeling that this is going to affect the community for a while. But we were able to have a really respectful stream to honor and celebrate Hayden Panettiere's life and her career. And yeah, we can now open the door and then hold the door for others as well, as far as talking about mental health. So thank you so very much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I love you guys. You guys are beautiful, beautiful human beings. Thank you so much for being part of the community. It means the world to me, and it's so awesome and refreshing, and like a good kind of overwhelming to see the kind of support that you guys all have for one another. And again, the amount of laying it out on the table, and the amount of taking a chance on something that can hurt, and giving the people in the community, these folks in the community, or giving myself the opportunity to show you that compassion. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you so very much, guys. I'm going to take tomorrow off, and I'll be back on Wednesday. We'll do something for a little late night on Wednesday. So thank you all so very much. I really appreciate you guys. Again, if you have anything else you'd like to add, or something you'd like to share, maybe you think of something, you can jump into the comments and share it there. We can keep the conversation going. And yeah, I really do appreciate you all. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I don't, please feel free to do that. If you guys think that this conversation, or the display that everyone put on here by sharing so much, if you think there's something, someone could benefit from this, please feel free to share. Or if you know somebody that's a huge Hayden fan, that would enjoy something like this, as far as the reflection and the celebration of the career, and talking about the real stuff, so we can have less loss in this world, then please feel free. You guys are amazing. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'm not going to do my big old thing. I just, we're just wanting to keep things, respectful and everything. So thank you guys so very much. I really do appreciate you. I'll be back on Wednesday, and I love you guys. Take care.